Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Now, what have we got for you tonight? Well, as we prepare to celebrate our national saint, we'll be looking at the state of things, the property market, the jobs, the multiplicity of languages in our schools, the commuting, the quality of life. How many of his 9 lives has the Celtic Tiger used up? But also, to entertain us, the Eurostar survivors. We've got comedian Deirdre O'Kane. The legendary Bonnie Tyler is with us. A Corkman called Mick Flannery, one of the best kept secrets in the Southern Capital. He's with me. Very talented too. We'll be meeting him later on. But first of all, after all the rugby hype, you know, there's another first for Croke Park coming up soon. The Republic of Ireland is going to take on Wales in the European Championship qualifier. It's next Saturday night. It's already a sellout. But listen to this. You and 9 of your friends can go to that match if you win our prize tonight. You'll have exclusive use of a corporate box in Croke Park for the match, and I'll tell you how you can win that in a few minutes' time. But first, if I mention songs like It's a Heartache, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Have You Ever Seen the Rain, or Lost in France, it can mean one person and a unique voice which has been described as amazing, rough, soft, deep, dynamic, all of those things. Her career has been global. It has spanned more than 30 years, and now here she is at the back again at the top of the album charts with one of those timeless hits. Your biggest welcome, please, for Miss Bonnie Tyler.
Thank you. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming round. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. But every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I get a little bit restless when I dream of something fine. And every now and then I get a little bit helpless now, like a child in your arms. Every now and then I get a little bit angry and I know I've got to get out and cry. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, then I see the look in your eyes. But every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you not tonight. I need you more than ever. If you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever. We'll only be making it right, 'cause we'll never be wrong together. We can take it to the end of the line, loving like a shadow and me all of the time. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark, living in a powder keg, giving up sparks. I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start tonight. Forever's gonna start. Once upon a time I was falling in love, now I'm only falling apart. And there's nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart. A total eclipse of the heart. I need you now tonight. I need you more than ever. If you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever. We'll only be making it right, 'cause we'll never be wrong together. We can take it to the end of the line, loving like a shadow of me all of the time. I don't know what to do, always in the dark, living in a powder keg, giving up spark. I really need you, I really need you tonight. Forever's gonna start. And once upon a time I was falling in love, now I'm only falling apart. And there's nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart. Total eclipse of the heart. A total eclipse of the heart. Thank you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hello, Bonnie Tyler. Yeah. It's good to see you. Come on, sit down.
Thank you.
And a happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well.
Hey, I'm glad I'm in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day.
You will have a ball tomorrow.
I know I will, yes.
She's going to Temple Bar for the day. What do you think?
Temple Bar.
Temple
Yes.
Bar, yes. Beware, but have fun. That's it.
And then I'll be in front of Trinity College, yeah?
Watching the parade.
Watching the parade.
Very good. Oh,
It's not raining.
you know, you never lost it. What a voice. What a tough song to sing.
But you know, the first time I saw Meatloaf on the old Grey Whistle Test many, many years ago, I thought, oh my God, he was singing Bat Out of Hell, and I thought, that's the kind of song I want to do, you know. So then I got in touch with Jim Steinman, and he wrote me this song.
He wrote you that song.
Yeah.
You've got a massive catalogue of hits, and they're compiled in an album now, and they're back in the charts.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling, isn't it?
It's a wonderful feeling. And I went in the charts today in Ireland, the highest entry at number 4.
Very good. Fantastic.
Thank you! Yeah.
Bonnie, later on the show, we have some young people who are making their way in showbiz, the
Yeah.
Eurostar finalists. You didn't do it overnight. I mean, it took you...
No, I'm an old rock and roll fossil. I've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But I started when I was about their age, you know. But, you know, I can give them a few tips.
Yeah, what would you say to them starting out?
I would say, for a start, they should... Well, I mean, I haven't met them yet, so I don't know if they've already formed a band together.
There's one band, there's
Yeah.
one female solo,
Yeah.
and one male solo.
So then I would suggest that they do as much live work as possible. Not forget about working in studios and making records and becoming famous and having hit track, you know, in the charts. I mean, I was working for 7 years before I was discovered, and I would still be in Wales singing in a local band if the talent scout from London, who was working for Chapel Music at the time, hadn't made a mistake and came in on the wrong floor and heard me singing. Someone up there was looking after me, you know.
And that's how it happened, as simple as that.
He came down from London to listen to the boys singing upstairs in the band because he'd heard about this guy. But I was singing in my band downstairs called Imagination, you know. And then I was asked in 1974 if I'd like to go to London to make a demo, which I did. I went up, I did a demo of Lost in France under My Honeycomb. And I didn't hear anything for 2 years, I thought.
2 years?
Yeah, I thought they didn't like me or whatever, you know. But then 2 years later, in 1976, then they asked me, you know, would I like a recording contract on RCA? I said, yes, thank you very much, you know, lovely.
And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning of it. But 7 years with the local band, working every night, you know, 6 nights a week.
Doing the charity gigs and the church concerts
that's what
and
I was going
all
to
of
say.
that.
They should do charity shows to get the experience, because there aren't that many. When I started, there wasn't DJs. You know, I started singing in 1969, so there was a lot of work for bands.
There were
then,
little
you know?
clubs and little venues all over the place.
And-
Harder now to get the start.
You know, like, I mean, every song that was in the charts I used to sing, you know, 'cause that's what people wanted to hear, the songs that were in the charts, because we sang them. The DJs didn't play them then. That's how bloody old I am. But anyway, that's a good place to start.
So anyway, you had a series of hits. You've come and gone, but you've never stopped
yeah.
working. I mean, you've
Up
been
and down,
popular, and then you vanish, it seems, for a while. But if you're not working here, you're working somewhere else.
Absolutely. I'm very, very fortunate that, I count my blessings for that, that I've been successful in all the countries around the world, you know. So if I'm not with you, haven't seen me very much, I've been on a stage, I'll be on a stage some in other country, you know. Like last year, oh gosh, you know, all over. But I'm still selling records in different countries, you know, like France and Germany and even like Russia, Poland, America. I'm doing a tour in
that's
America.
The point. So many people from
Australia.
these islands have tried to make it in America, and you can count them on the fingers of one hand, the people who've really made it big, you know. And you were one of those.
I did it in 1978 for the first time with It's a Heartache.
It's a Heartache, great song.
Yeah, I never thought I'd get around to having another hit after Lost in France, mind.
Now, this voice of yours, was it like that from the beginning?
Well,
that kind of raspy, husky, sexy voice?
I couldn't be sexy if I tried, but anyway. But in 1976, Lost in France, very sweet song, wasn't it? And then I developed nodules on my vocal cords, and I thought, oh my God, what a time, you know. Just I've been working in a local band for 7 years, and now I got nodules, so I had to have them removed. And
that comes from probably overworking your voice, doesn't it?
Yeah. So then I had to have them surgically removed, and you're not supposed to talk for 6 weeks. Well, can you imagine me not talking? I mean, do me a favour, like my husband wish, you know. But I couldn't stop talking. I tried very much, but I couldn't really. And then I went into the studio. Instead of 6 weeks later, it was like 6 months later, you know. And I went, it's a heartache. And they said, my God, where did that voice come from? It was so different from the old voice, you know. But as it happened, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, you know.
So that's what it was. The surgery wasn't quite as it might have been. And so you ended up with this utterly characteristic voice.
Yeah, so it's kind of... I mean, they were already comparing me to Rod Stewart with Lost in France. Yeah. I don't know how, because I could never hear that, you know. But even more so then after. Hey, and Rod Stewart just covered It's a Heartache.
That's right.
Did you notice?
Yeah. We had him on the show not so long ago, before Christmas. He's a great guy.
I've only ever seen him once in all my career, you know. And that was in a nightclub in London. And strangely enough, it was weird because... he walked in a black dinner suit, and you know, it was very fashionable dinner suit. And I had a tuxedo jacket on with like a, you know, like the girls didn't used to wear the shirt, then they just wore the collars, the collars with the dicky bow, and I had a tuxedo jacket on, and it was really weird because we looked like twins, you know.
But did you get to meet him that night? You did.
No, briefly, that's all it was, just hello and whatever, and I really had a conversation with him.
Everyone who's listening to this interview and saying, she's been in the business for more than 30 years, and before she actually got her break, there 7 years, she looks fantastic.
For 55?
Is that what it is, 55? You look wonderful.
Bloody hell, I'll be 56.
Do you have a secret you want to pass on?
Well, yes. Botox, girls. I'm not swearing.
Botox.
Botox, restyling, a little bit of maintenance, all right. You know what I mean?
A little bit of maintenance.
And a little teeth capping, you know.
But how long have you been using the Botox? I mean, do you have to start when you're 20?
I've been on it for 12 years.
12 years?
I've been doing, you know, like I'm going again on Monday now. I need a bit of filler there.
It sounds like polyfiller.
It is, it's a bit like polyfiller. I don't care, you know, it's not like, it's just like going to the dentist these days, you know, it's not as if I'm like, I heard you had a bit of fun with, what's her name?
Who?
The one that
Joan
said
Rivers. She's
inside out.
Yeah, Joan Rivers. She was on last week.
God, she looks amazing, doesn't she? The only thing that worries me about people that have all this plastic surgery, you know, like to the point of looking completely different, is like, imagine if they had that done when they're young, and then they get married, right, and to a lovely looking chap or something, they think, oh, we're going to make beautiful babies, and all of a sudden this baby comes, and it looks like the mother before.
It's true. All these makeover shows where they change people.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind. Hey, I tell you what, I wouldn't mind if you got one in Ireland. You know, I'd be a guinea pig for that. Yeah. I'm dying to have a brow lift.
A brow lift?
Yeah, you see, look.
You look vaguely Chinese when you do that,
it's, apparently they just do a little incision there, and then they pull up the muscles and tighten it up. And it doesn't involve cutting or anything.
But if you happen to catch the thing with your hairbrush, will it all collapse on your face?
Oh, talk about catching something with my hairbrush. I don't know if you can notice, but I've got a split in my ear.
The lobe is split.
Yeah, my hairbrush, I had hoop earrings on, right?
Yeah.
And I was brushing my hair, and I brushed it so fast. And I was bleeding like a pig, right?
What? You took the earring through the ear?
I got a slice, and I can't see it.
I can too.
Yeah. Anyway, so luckily,
I thought that was your husband nibbling your ear. I met him. He's a lovely fella. You've been with him for how long?
34 years. Anyway, let me tell you about this now.
Go on. I was just wondering how you put up with you that long.
I went to the hospital. I went to the hospital now, right? Because it was only up the road. I was home at the time, which is unusual. I'm never home. But I was home in Singleton Hospital. It's just up the road from me. So I went up the hospital to casualty, holding my ear now, bleeding like hell, right? And I'm like, I just pulled my earring through my ear. And the doctor said, oh, you're Bonnie Tyler, aren't you? And I said, yes. And he said, oh, just a minute. He gets his phone out and he goes, can I have a picture? And I'm like, Anyway, he stitched it up, did a useless job, cut it in like 6 weeks' time.
You now have this gap. But
I combed another brush through it.
It's one of life's scars. You can put it down to that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he loves you. Botox, ear splits, everything.
Yes.
He's mad about you. You didn't always travel together, though, did you?
No. We've been married now for I think it's 34 years in July. But for the first 10 years of my career, I travelled, because I was up for the first 7 years. I was always home. I was local, But then when I started making records in 1976 and I was travelling for 10 years without my husband, and I was going away and coming back and going with the band and the manager and whatever, and coming back. And in the end, after 10 years, I said, it's not fun anymore now. I love the singing, but I'm going back to an empty hotel room at the end of the night, And everybody thinks, oh, you're out partying, whatever. But when you're with a band and they're young, they're all out looking for girls. Well, they don't anymore, if the wives are listening, but because they're married now. But you know what I mean? They when they were young, and I go back to my room. So I said to Robert, I'm gonna go back and be a normal singer in a local band again if you don't start travelling with me. And he started travelling with me, and he's been travelling with me ever since. He's over there now. Yeah,
and he's a lovely fella. He really is.
He's a lovely guy, yeah.
Anyway, Bonnie, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
I don't know what the future holds for you, because you'll be back at the top of the charts in America, no doubt. And
I'm doing a new album with Jim. I was over in New York
with Jim Steinman.
Yeah, Jim Steinman. I was there about a month ago. And we were talking about doing a country rock album, right? Not total country, but together. And so I want to get some really good country artists now that I can do duets with and things, And but I'm touring America at the end of the year. I'm touring Australia. I got loads of summer festivals in Europe. So if anybody wants to see me, you better look at bonnietyler.com.
Very good. It's a pleasure having you on the show, Bonnie Tyler. Thank you very much, Bonnie Tyler. No.